edition of the DC Live. I'm your host, Sal Mika. I got my co-host, Mike Franco, and we're live inside the Fight Shop New Mexico on Curza Montano. And this week, we have 3 interviews going up with us on this show. We have former UFC heavyweight, I should say, not champion, but heavyweight. He fought Andre Arlovski, who was the heavyweight champion, Wesley Cabbage Correira. We have the headline for the Jackson's MMA series. We've both stated that if this card stays intact, it's going to be probably the fight card of the year, and we're only in February. Jordan Espinosa and Nick Urso will join us. And then, so real quick, let's touch on the national scene, what's going on this weekend. We have Friday Bellator, Saturday UFC. Micah, take it away.
Well, Bellator 148, disappointing for everyone in Fresno. Josh Koscheck injured. Hometown guy not going to make his debut. Paul Daly's still on the card. Paul Daly's taking on Andy Ulrich. Ulrich is a lightweight moving up to welterweight. I think Paul Daly is going to knock somebody out. Semtex, is dynamite. Boom, it's going to be a knockout. Co-main event, Chris Honeycutt, a Josh Koscheck protege. Paul Bradley, I believe they fought once before, no contest. There's some heat here. I believe Honeycutt's the better, younger prospect. He even offered Paul Daly that he'd, dye his hair blonde and beat his ass in honor of his mentor. So there's some trash talk there. That's going to be an interesting one. From AKA Tony Johnson, 9-2, a heavyweight bout with Rafael Butler. Butler, some knockouts on his record. Johnson, more decisions. AKA, you got to figure he's a wrestler. He has very credible wins. And opening up the main card, Patrick Pitbull Freire with his crazy knockouts, taking on Ryan Couture. Dangerous fight for Couture. Got any thoughts?
So that's going to happen on Saturday,
Friday,
Spike TV, Bellator. And unfortunately, it's a tough loss for Bellator losing Josh Koscheck. But hopefully they save him. Don't let him fight until he actually fights Paul Daly. That's the fight I really want to see them put together. Hopefully they'll do that the next time around, and hopefully Paul Daly doesn't get lit up or hurt or injured in some way, and they can make that fight happen.
Also Friday night, don't got the fight card for you, but if you have Access TV, turn into that because Lion Fights 27, Muay Thai's going down. I believe they're having 2 or 3 title fights. It's violent stuff, Muay Thai. You gotta love it. And Tiffany Van Soest, a dangerous, devastating striker, just phenomenal. She's fighting for her 2nd Lion Fights title, so that's a great nightcap. And then we go on to Saturday, right, Sal?
Saturday, UFC on Fox 18, Anthony Johnson versus Ryan Bader. Break it down for us, Micah.
I really have mixed feelings about this fight because Anthony Johnson can knock anybody out, but if he gets put on his back, he becomes a turtle. Bader has good wrestling. We saw the improved striking, and so did Rashad Evans in the last fight. So we got a really close main event here, and for some reason, I want to go with Bader, that I think he has more momentum and more tools, but Rumble Johnson can always throw a head kick up there and has violent power. So I really don't want to make a bet with you on this one. I have no clue.
We don't want to do food?
No, I couldn't. No, not on that one.
You could stick with Ryan Bader. I'm going to go with Anthony Rumble Johnson. I think he knocks him out in the first round.
Think so?
Oh, yeah.
Right away?
Yeah, I really believe that.
I'm trying to think, have we seen Bader's chin tested? I mean, he's avoided big shots, so I don't know how he's going to react.
He's not going to avoid them. And I don't think he's avoided any big shots. I see him taking shots. And this is the guy that he shouldn't be taking those shots from at all. No way.
Sal makes a good argument. Could sway me. We'll see what happens. Co-main event, I like this one. Josh Barnett, Ben Rothwell. What's that, IFL days are we going back to now?
Wow, that's a long time ago on My 50 TV.
Right? That's, one of those things that, used to get my fix when I couldn't afford pay-per-views.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I'm like, wow.
Most people probably don't even know what we're talking about right now.
Oh, no clue. Team fighting. Wouldn't that be a great concept to bring back?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Go ahead and break it down real quick.
Josh Barnett, big elbows, wrestling, but Ben Rothwell seems to be invincible right now. Rothwell has awkward striking, awkward grappling, but everything gets the job done. Technically, Barnett's superior, but Rothwell really has a huge momentum swing. What do you see, Sal?
I'm not Al, I'm Sal, but yeah, Josh Barnett, I say he's gonna get a takedown on him, take him down, sub him. That's what I see.
Also on the main card, Yuri Alcantara, Jimmy Rivera, Rivera, hot prospect, only one loss. Come off of a split decision win over Pedro Munoz, who I thought was an amazing prospect at bantamweight. Yuri Alcantara, he's always impressive, but he kind of gasses out. I think Rivera can make a huge win. Sage Northcutt, it appears he's moving up to welterweight now. An injury to Andrew Holbrook, Ryan Barberina stepping in. Interestingly, Barberina 9 of 10 wins by knockout. Sage Northcutt for his welterweight debut, getting a striker. What do you think of that, Sal? We know you love Sage.
Oh, yeah, I do, just like I do Paige. You know, both of them, you know, they didn't do her any favors when she fought her last fight. I hope Brian comes out and flattens him out. But that's an excuse. If it is at 170, that's an excuse for the UFC to say, hey, look, he moved up, blah, blah, blah. Let him go fight back at 155.
Inexplicably not on the main card. You got Tarek Safadine, Jake Ellenberger. That's a big fight. Olivier Aubin-Mercier versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. That's crazy at lightweight. Mercier's going to look to take it down. Ferreira, good striking. Natal, Kevin Casey, two excellent grapplers. Natal, much more seasoned, though. Flyweights, Dustin Ortiz, Wilson Hayes. Hayes has been surprising in the UFC, but Ortiz trying to become a contender. I got to go with Ortiz, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hayes can out-grapple him.
How do you become a contender being the sixth fight on this card? I don't get that. Everybody's bitching and complaining about 125 not having any kind of contenders. There's two guys right there. That could be potential fight of the night.
They're top 10 fighters. That fight, and along with the Safadine Ellenberger card, should be on the main card stage. And even though I like Alcantara, they shouldn't be there. Also, you got Alexander Yakev versus George Sullivan. That Russian is a great striker. Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy versus Moises Fallon. Caceres does not look right in a while. Matt Dwyer, watch out for him, even though he's 8-3, taking on an undefeated Randy Brown, who I wish I knew more about. Damon Jackson, Ivan Makashvili, they're going to both grapple. Makashvili's better. Tony Martin, Philippe Oliver. That should be an exciting fight to open up the night. Sal, you saw anything there that I missed?
No, I mean, you covered the bases. I'm excited for our first guest on the DC Live.
I'm so excited I might not be able to speak.
Former UFC heavyweight Wesley Cabbage Correira, he's going to join us. He's here in town with BJ Penn. He's going to talk to us about how Albuquerque has been treating him, and we got to ask him the all-important question, red or green chili? We'll find out. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. The DC Life Uncensored. We're back with the DC Life. I'm Sal Mika, and I got a special guest, former UFC fighter. He trains with BJ Penn, Wesley Cabbage Correira. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Wesley, what have you been up to in all these years, and what brought you out to Albuquerque, New Mexico from the 808?
Well, all these years I've been taking care of my kids, and I've been trying to train on the side, getting back into the grind. You know, the fire kind of died down a little bit. Had to relax a little bit, but now the fire's back up, back training. I had my first, I'm on a 2-fight win streak right now. My last fight was November 14th. Pretty good. Albuquerque, the reason why we came up here to Albuquerque is to start a new training camp. Like, BJ's up here training with Jackson's MMA, you know. Just a lot of love up here. We love Albuquerque. Like, we just got a lot of love from Jackson's. And everybody around, you know, it's different. It's over here is like a small Hawaii, except for the road rage.
So you felt the road rage, or is that home?
No, we seen the road rage. Like, we were driving and we seen the road rage like happen right in front of us. Like, holy shit, you know, like, it's true.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's the Wild West out here. I mean, everybody seems to carry a gun because it's an extension of your home here with the laws and whatnot. So everybody thinks they're in the right, and everybody's in a hurry to get to nowhere, which is crazy out here.
Yeah.
Let's go back. 2000 is when you started, correct?
Yes, 2000.
What have you? How have the changes? What's the biggest difference inside the cage that you see from these young guys from when you started 16 years ago?
the thing I see nowadays is a lot of people are being bred into the sport. Like they're being brought up from taekwondo, karate backgrounds. You know, their parents are wanting to build them up as MMA fighters. So these kids are being surrounded by nothing but mixed martial arts their whole life growing up. Compared to us when we were there, you know, it was just, you know, oh, I got my brown belt in judo. You know, let's start boxing. You know, let's start taking jiu-jitsu. And then everything just started. We started bending everything together. Now it's like the newer generation, they're born into it, so like everything's just around them, you know. So with us older guys coming back and trying to fight, we just got to put on our big dog pants, you know what I mean, and show them who's the real big dogs on the field. Make the puppies go sit back on the porch, you know.
I love it. Make the puppies go sit back on the porch.
Because the puppies sometimes, like for instance, I'm gonna say Nick Lenz.
Yeah.
You know, calls out BJ with the poem. BJ answers back. BJ's the big dog. Nick Lenz is the puppy. He barked. BJ barked back. Nick Lenz went back on the porch. You know, we didn't hear back from him yet, you know?
Sure. Well, he's claiming he wants to go at 55 instead of 45 and making excuses, basically, without saying, he's saying no without saying no.
Yeah. He should have just stick to writing poems, you know? He could have been the Mark Twain of fucking UFC.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you're a brown belt in judo.
Yes.
What rank do you hold in jiu-jitsu as well?
Purple belt.
You're a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Did judo help you transition into the jiu-jitsu world?
Actually, judo helped me a lot because in judo you got a lot more pressure and balance. Like, you know, when you take somebody down, like BJ will take you down. He's 155 pounds. He'll feel like he's about 350 pounds on you. So you learn that in judo, like how to apply your pressure correctly. So that way, you're a smaller guy, but you feel much heavier. The angle trips in judo, all incorporated into jiu-jitsu, you know? Because in jiu-jitsu, a lot of people, they want to grab you.
Yeah.
They want to grab into the gi, and in judo, that's your game. You don't want
That's
them to
the
grab
game.
you in judo.
Absolutely.
Jiu-jitsu, they grab you, boom, you taking them for a ride.
Interesting. Because a lot of fans probably only know you as the hard-headed, hard-hitting
Yeah, the brawler,
Hawaiian,
you know?
and not a whole lot of people probably even know that you have a brown belt in judo, which has submissions, and a purple belt in jiu-jitsu as well.
Yeah, that's like my Superman. Huh? It's like when I open up the gi, you know? Got the brown belt stripe.
Well, you have Ronda Rousey, who's made judo very, very popular again inside the UFC. Carl Parisian was one of the guys before her that actually made it popular inside the MMA cage as well.
Yes.
So to see you, are you utilizing it at all now a little bit more, or are we still seeing?
You know, the newer Cabbage, like I said, the Cabbage 2.0 is a different fighter. Like, I don't like to get hit as much as before. I used to like just, you know, I lost a lot of weight. And the funniest thing is I tell a lot of people when I lost the weight, I found head movement, you know. I started moving my head a lot more, you know. And I just, newer fighter, like I want to get in there, finish it faster, you know. You fight smarter when you get older.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the UFC, the state of 2016 UFC. You were back in the day, early 2000s and whatnot. You guys could wear any sponsors you wanted.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's UFC and Reebok only. Sprinkle in Monster here and there with select few fighters. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the sponsorship and them saying it's a fight kit versus uniform based on you guys being independent contractors?
My thing with the UFC is what the UFC should do. This is my point of view. Is if they're gonna put people like that control their sponsors, put them on salary. Put the fighters on salary so that way they don't have to go out and worry about where am I gonna get my supplements from this month. Oh shit, food costs $500 this month, you know. Put the fighters on salary so they don't have to worry about going out and finding sponsors to help them pay for that stuff, to help them pay for their living, and maybe that Reebok deal will, maybe all the fighters will be happy with that deal, you know. If you put a fighter on, like, and let's say they put fighters on salary. All depends on how ranked you are. The salary starts from maybe $3,500 up to $7,000 a month. When you fight, you get a lump sum. You know, instead of getting like a huge paycheck, like a $250,000 and a $250,000 to win, you know, so you get $500,000, but you're getting paid throughout the year, you know, to survive. So when you get that sponsor money, you don't even have to worry about sponsors, you know. That's what I'm thinking, that if the UFC did that, would make it much easier on fighters. Because being a fighter, when you train, everything comes in, like gear, supplements, you know, training, food, everything you have to pay for it. And you know, sometimes fighters, they're struggling. So that's when sponsors come in and help them out. But with the UFC not being able to do that, where just Reebok is the main sponsor, what does that do?
Sure. So for you at this point, Cabbage 2.0. If the UFC presented you with a contract, and say Bellator, who's the number 2 here in the United States, presented you with maybe a little less money, but you get unlimited sponsorships. Whereas the business of Cabbage, because that's what you got to be in. I always tell all the guys, you have to be in business for yourself in this, because let me tell you, UFC, Bellator, any other company is in business for themselves.
Yeah. You have to just...
What would you do?
With that, I'd have to take the contract with Bellator, you know? Because even if you're taking a little bit less money off of your paychecks that you're going to be getting, you're going to be covered from your sponsors, you know? Your sponsors are going to help you kick all that. And nobody's going to want to sponsor somebody if they're not going to be able to see their logo on the T-shirt, shorts, or banner, you know? Like with the UFC, you can't do nothing.
Sure.
Who's going to want to sponsor somebody $1,500 or $2,000 a month if you can't even say their name when you're getting thanked, you know? Oh, yeah, I'd like to thank... Oh, or you're getting fined.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing guys getting fined for wearing jeans, guys having to take off their tennis shoes because they're not wearing Reebok shoes, they're wearing maybe a pair of Nikes. I mean, and these are media days, which is kind of wild to me, you know.
The funniest thing I see is Dana White, president of the UFC, he's using Nike.
Yeah, he's wearing the Nike gear and stuff.
In the airport using a Nike shirt, Nike shoes, you know, what's the Reebok?
Yeah, and on the flip side of it, with Reebok, they're messing up so much. Why aren't they getting penalized? Yeah. Why isn't there some kind of give back to the fighters in the sense of, hey, look, we messed up, we're going to give you guys all $1,000, whatever, because, you know, $500, $200.
Now that UFC has full control of everybody's sponsorship. Before, UFC used to pay fighters, and sometimes the sponsor would pay the fighters more than what they're getting paid in their paycheck.
Oh yeah.
So now with the UFC with their hand in that sponsorship, you know, they don't have to worry about nothing. We control the fighters, you know. So from there, they're getting money from Reebok, which they always wanted. You know, they're getting money from the sponsors that are going to sponsor the fighters. So now the fighters have to use full uniforms. They're getting money from Reebok, and the fighters are getting money from Reebok. Where in the other days where you get sponsored from them, you'd run your sponsors' logos in the UFC. The UFC wasn't making shit off of you.
Right.
You know, so that's maybe where they got kind of like maybe hurt a little bit. They got a soft heart or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems like the money was going around perfectly A-okay, being that they were selling out shows, they're getting pay-per-view percentages.
I don't even know why they did that uniform. You
Yeah,
know?
it's a weird and very touchy subject with fighters and stuff. It doesn't seem like it's helping very much. In fact, you're seeing a lot of these guys now play out their contracts.
Yeah, just to go to Bellator.
Just to see, you know, and see what kind of options they can, if you know, and see if they could get a better contract deal with the Bellator, with the ONE FC, with any other company. I mean, heck, there's even guys that are even talking to World Series of Fighting, which is crazy, mind-blowing to think that you would even consider that, being that you're a UFC fighter and they offered you a contract.
But it's the same thing. It's like UFC is the NFL of football.
Yeah.
Bellator, WSOF is like the Canadian League of Football.
Yeah,
you know?
arena football.
You really want to get into the UFC because it's here, US, you know what I mean? Yeah, UFC, you got it, but a lot of people don't want to go there because the sponsorships makes it harder for the fighters to train, makes it harder for them to support their families, you know.
Speaking of families, how has life been? When you first started, did you have your kids? How has life changed for you there?
Life has changed for me a lot. Like, coming from when I never had any kids, where I could just bounce and go whenever I had to go to training camp. Now it's like, hey boys, you know, baby girl, you know, dad has to go someplace. I'll be back later. Oh, okay, you know, why you gotta go? You know, how come you gotta go? But one thing I did was when I had my kids, I put my fighting career on the side for a little while, just to show them how good of a dad I could be. You know,
absolutely.
Without having to bounce out, you know, all the time. So that's why I didn't fight for a long time. And plus, I was losing, you know, because I wasn't training, because I wasn't in my head right. You know? I got addicted to prescription pain pills, and you know, and that took a whole toll on me.
Absolutely. Well, you're seeing it take a toll on not only MMA athletes, but you're seeing it across the board, whether they're NFL, NBA. You're talking professional wrestlers are now getting really, really addicted to these painkillers and whatnot. And then also concussions. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be a concern also. Being a father, you want to remember your kids at a certain age. You're still a young guy, you know. You don't want to be like 60 years old and drooling on yourselves and your kids having to push you around. Yeah. I mean, that's the reality. So for you, what has been the biggest change?
The biggest change is me is just how my outlook on everything now. Now that you have kids, you know, you think before you react. Before, you used to be like, oh, this motherfucker did this to me. Fuck this guy, you know?
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, okay. That's all right, boys. Just let them go, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta show your kids how to control things when you're around them, you know? Well, Dad, how come you're not mad? You don't need to be mad about it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Dad, you know? And
It's no big deal.
yeah, no big deal. Take a couple deep breaths. Like I tell my son all the time, like, I used to have an anger problem. I took anger management. I graduated a class like that because I learned how to conquer my you know, how to beat it before it took me over. I just take some deep breaths, forget about it. Like a lot of people, when I go out, like my last time when I was at my training camp in Vegas, my friend took me to this guy's house. And you know how it is when a bunch of guys start getting drunk.
Sure.
Oh, shit, I think I could wrestle with you, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, nah, that's cool, you know?
Yeah.
Nah, that's cool. Then I told my friend, hey, let's bounce. Oh, come on, let's just go, you know? Then we get in the car and he's like, oh, we wanted to go. This guy he wanted to fucking wrestle and shit like that. Oh, why didn't you just slap him? I just laugh it off and take myself out of the situation, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, you slap him. It's a world of the phone,
Everybody's
video
looking to get rich
cameras,
nowadays.
everything,
Everybody's looking for
TMZ.
the easy way to get rich, you know?
Yeah,
Like with chicks, even with chicks, with guys, you know, guys are just waiting for, oh, I'm gonna try to see if I can make this guy mad. He can punch me. I can get a lawsuit. You know, girls are like, oh man, try to see if I can hook up with this guy. Maybe make a hole in the rubber. I got a baby daddy, you know now. And what are you gonna do after that?
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very, very smart. Wesley, you're here in New Mexico training as well as with BJ and whatnot. Do you have a fight coming up?
Have a fight coming up soon. Whether it's wherever, you know, hopefully I can get on the same card as BJ. You know, that would be good too. Hawaii guys fighting on the same card.
Absolutely.
I'm in shape. I feel great. You know, in case anybody falls out, I'm there to step in. But if not, I'll just keep on staying in shape. Wait for the phone call. You know, and prove everybody wrong. You know, show everybody what's up.
Absolutely. Well, I got to be personally, I'm excited to see you. I first saw you, and I'm going to be real honest with you. I first saw you against David Tank Cabbage in the UFC with my father. You know, that's who introduced me to the UFC. I saw you fight him, put him out, and then flip the bird, and all chaos happened.
Yeah.
So I remember that as a younger kid and whatnot. But it's exciting to have you here inside the Fight Shop New Mexico on the DC Life podcast that airs on CageMinds.com. Real quick, red or green chili for you?
I like the green chili.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My type of man. Cabbage, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it for stopping by and joining us on the DC Life Uncensored.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you so much.
All right.
The Fight Shop New Mexico in the Montano Plaza Shopping Center, located off Coors and Montano.
We're back with the DC Life Uncensored. I got Jordan Espinosa here with us. Jackson's MMA Series 17 main event, February 13th, against Nick Urso. A fight you've been screaming for. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. Glad to get the fight that I've been wanting.
So, main event, does that add any, little perk to you?
No, it's not my first main event. It's actually my second. The first time I went down to downtown Pittsburgh and fought their hometown guy. Unfortunately, it didn't go my way, but I'm excited. I'm excited to be fighting in front of a hometown. I got people coming from all over, so it's going to be fun.
You haven't fought since March, right? And that was boxing?
Yep. My last boxing fight was March 20th out in Arizona. My last MMA fight was the end of February, and that was also in Pennsylvania.
So is there an itch to want to get back to competition?
Oh, for sure, and there's definitely an itch, and even more so because it's the fight I've wanted. I've never really before called out a fighter or have asked for a fight and then have gotten it, but so this is a pleasant surprise.
So are these some new tactics? I mean, we've seen the posts on Facebook. There's been Southwest Fight News put up the back and forth that was there from Facebook from a year ago. So much hype. These new tactics. What about Nick has brought this out of you?
it's not new tactics. Like honestly, when I watched his fight against Josh Montoya last February, it was just what was on my mind at the time, and so I said it and I posted it on Facebook and I tagged him in it. Southwest Fight News put it up on their site. A few weeks later, I saw Nick post something about wanting to get a UFC shot, which, I mean, cool for him. I'm sure he's going to try and get in there any way he can, but I don't feel like he deserves it. I posted something last week that showed, it was a comparison between me and him and his records against mine. The records of the guys he's beat is 37 and 50, 56 or something like that, and mine is 38 and 30, but the records of the guys I fought are 70 and 48. And so I'm just saying, like, my competition level has been far above his. And, yeah, I'm going to exploit that.
How hard was it to get this fight? We know you've been calling out for it, so when you got the call for the fight, were you kind of surprised?
I was surprised when I got the call for the fight. I hadn't actively, talked to Ricky K, the promoter of Jackson's MMA series, or anything like that. I knew they were coming up with one. My coaches came up to me about it, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like, it was a no-brainer.
3-fight win streak, but it's been so long. Do you still feel that you have momentum on your side?
Yeah, of course. If not evidenced by or inspired by Dominic Cruz's latest performance, he's had 2 fights in the past 4 years. Like he said, ring rust is a sign of mental weakness. As long as you're confident in your preparation and you've been doing all the right things, then ring rust shouldn't matter. Momentum or not, I'm well prepared for this fight, and I'm gonna show it.
Some of the stuff getting fights, I know you can't control it. But have you seen some disappointment? You're 2-0 on Access TV, a big forum like that, XFC legacy, but yet, they haven't continued to want to, promote you and bring you back. It's kind of odd, I figure, to see someone getting the wins and them not want to take advantage of it, needing to build stars.
No, at first it was a little bit frustrating. Now I just take it fight by fight. I don't even care. I just want to take every fight as it comes that's in front of me and win by win, and if something big happens from it, then great. If not, I'll take the next fight.
So looking at Nick Urso, this next fight, what do you see in his game that you can take advantage of?
I can take advantage of the whole thing. I've trained with him before. I've seen his fights before, and it's really nothing new in my opinion. His 2 losses to Freddie Lux and Ray Borg, both grappling or wrestling strong type fighters, beat him, and in my opinion, I have the base to beat him as well. I'm a wrestling state champion and a multiple regional champ. So if I don't beat him in wrestling, I do feel like I can knock him out. People always say or people have been asking lately, this is your biggest fight. It's my biggest fight, maybe on paper because of his record, but I've fought Dominic Mazzado, who's 9-1 in Pennsylvania. I fought Rafael de Freitas, who's a BJJ world champion, who was 6-0. In my opinion, 4 out of the 11 guys I've fought can beat him easily. So yeah, it's a big fight, but I think it's an easy fight, so should be fun.
It's an easy fight. It's a big highlight. Where do you see what does this catapult you to? 4-fight win streak. Where do you go to next?
4-fight win streak. Like I said, it would be nice to get recognized or get into somewhere bigger. I'm always, of course, my goal is to get into the UFC. But if that doesn't happen, so be it. I'll take the next fight. I honestly wanted another fight before this fight, just because a year is kind of a long way off, or a long time off. But whatever, it is what it is. 4-fight win streak still is a 4-fight win streak, and as long as you're winning in this business, good things happen.
Big part of that breakdown that was shared earlier this last week, I thought, is you're undefeated at flyweight, seeing a lot of fights at bantamweight. Are you flyweight? Are you a bantamweight? We know you just take fights as they come, but for you, where do you want to be? Where do you feel better at?
Well, it's no secret. Yeah, I'm undefeated at flyweight for a reason. In all honesty, I do not attribute my losses to being at bantamweight, because I'm not saying, because I lost because I was at bantamweight. It's more that in all honesty, it took me about 17 fights in my amateur and pro career to feel comfortable in the cage. And the mental side of the fight game is the entire thing. The past 3 or 4 fights, I've felt relaxed. I've felt comfortable. I've had fun in the cage, and I think that shows in my performances. I'm not as tense. I'm just loose, and as Conor McGregor would say, I'm flowy. And so, yeah, you can see that big difference. And it's not because, the guys at 135 were bigger. Yes, some of them were, but I don't attribute that being the reason to me having those losses on my record.
So we know you're great grappling. Where do you feel you've most improved in your game?
Striking, for sure. About a year ago when I had my boxing fight, I was training with Juan Romero at Duke City Boxing for several months, and I swear, I've been at that time I was training MMA for 6 years total, and I didn't know how to throw a punch correctly, in my opinion, or in his opinion. Now, I agree with him, and now my striking is so much better. My jab is so much better. All of my strikes, and then I believe my striking has improved leaps and bounds, and hopefully I get to showcase that in this fight.
So that laughter from you, have you went back and looked at some of your early fights, and what's that like for you watching your technique or lack thereof?
I've seen every single one of my fights probably over 100 times each. It's pretty hilarious. Even as an amateur, I had a head kick that led to a TKO, and that was the first head kick I've ever thrown in my life. Like, not even in training, I never threw a head kick, and in that amateur fight, I just decided to throw one, and I landed it. It's funny. It's kind of weird because I remember back when I had first started in 2009, late 2008, early 2009, and I was training at Albuquerque kickboxing. Every time I would get in the cage to spar anybody, I would throw a punch and then cower away and turn my head and show them my back. Like, it was pretty terrible. So it's nice to see the progression.
Jackson's MMA series. It's 2 weeks, just under 3 weeks away. The Trail Ye MMA, represented with them. How many teammates do you have on the card?
Currently, we have 4 teammates, including myself. We have 4 people on the team that are in the card. It's me, Natalie Roy, Javier Cepeda, and Tyler Starr. And we're all looking good and ready to go.
Then anyone you got to shout out to, anyone you got to thank, any last message for Nick?
Yeah, I don't have any message for Nick, but I just want to thank, of course, first and foremost, my fans, everyone that's going to come out and watch the fight, everyone that's supported me throughout the past 7 years. My family, of course, they've always supported me no matter what I've chosen to do with my life. And a couple shout-outs to some of my sponsors, Damage Control, DC Oil Group out in Houston, Rec Barbarian, Classic Barbershop, and Bocadillo's Slow Roasted.
February 13th, Jackson's MMA Series 17. It's shaping up. It could be the card of the year, and we're only in February. DC Life will be back after this.
The Fight Shop New Mexico in the Montano Plaza Shopping Center, located off Coors and Montano.
DC Life Uncensored is back. And we got Nick Urso, the other half of the Jackson's MMA Series 17 main event. We're 2.5 weeks out. This could be the most stat card of the year. We're only in February. Nick, thank you for the time. Just got done with practice. How you feeling?
Good, man. What's up? Thanks for having me on. Just catching my breath. Just finished practice. Trying not to sweat all over my phone.
A year of not being able to get a fight. What's been going on with you?
Just living life, man. Training, enjoying my family. Training. I'm always training. I love doing this. So it's been good. There ain't been any real worthy opportunity, no opportunities at all outside of, the big show, and those haven't been popping up. So I've just been training and doing a little work here and there, and just living life.
So 2.5 weeks out. We know Jordan called you out after the last win. How long had this fight been in the works?
I just wait till my phone rings, and if I get offered a fight, I say yes. So that's pretty much what happened.
When Ricky gave you the call, decided to make this fight, what were your thoughts?
Ricky already knew I was going to take the fight. He just let me know finally it was going to happen. So I just waited for that contract to get sent over. And, really no thoughts. Just, it's always nice to have something on the schedule, something on the calendar. And, that's that, you know?
There's been some talk. There was some Facebook back and forth. In the UFC and Conor McGregor style, they call it selling the fight. What have you thought of the back and forth?
Dude, if you're going to call that Conor McGregor style, you know what that looked like? It looked like a piss-poor journalist on the Underground or on Twitter with the egg icon. So, unless someone says something to my face or something like that I can appreciate, like some good shit talking, that's just not intriguing. I could talk shit with the best of them until there's a good shit talker that says something that's worthwhile. It's not a shit talking contest and there's no pay-per-views to sell. So, the only reason he's talking is because no one knows who the fuck he is. If I wasn't on this card, no one would probably be going. If it was just a Jordan Espinosa fight, who the fuck's going to show up? His fucking fraternity brothers or whatever his fuck he is?
So, I've never heard you talk like this. Has Jordan's trash talk added that extra little motivation to you?
I'm gonna be honest. That's how I always am. You guys just don't see me on a normal basis. If people are respectful, I'm respectful. I don't got no beef with this guy. If he wants to, whatever. No matter what he says, I'm gonna fucking do the same shit. You know, it's irrelevant to what he says. I really don't care. The only person that I'm not gonna fuck up that's talking shit, or that's in the cage with me, is like my brother. Anybody else, you could tell me you love me, or you could tell me you hate me. You could tell me whatever you want. It's gonna be that you're gonna get the same Nick Urso. So it's really it's irrelevant to me, you know.
You've been flying around, doing a lot of training. It's been a year. Have you been able to look back at that Montoya fight? Was there any video of it? Because I talked to you right after the fight. Have you been able to see it since then?
No, I haven't really been able to find any full footage of it. I've seen little clips here and there on people's cell phones and stuff, but yeah, I haven't seen it from beginning to end in any fashion. But yeah, it was a good fight. Montoya is a tough dude. He's a seasoned veteran. I got a lot of respect for Montoya. I did going into that fight. I like that guy. I've known him for quite a while. And yeah, I thought it was a good fight. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So coming out of
I wouldn't mind watching it again, but
coming out of it, where did the coaches, say you needed to, pick it up at? Where were they wanting you to work at?
Just full evolution, just working on everything. Just becoming a better fighter, more complete fighter, and evolving my skill set.
Second time back at Buffalo Thunder, what does that do for you? How comfortable are you in that setting now?
Yeah, it's a cool arena. I really like it there. I like the venue. I like the casino. I took a little bit of my money last time. That wasn't too fun, but I like it there. It's nice being up in the mountains. I like fighting in New Mexico. It's cool. It's like home. I enjoy fighting in the setting that it brings. And yeah, it doesn't really matter to me though. I fought in some ghetto shows, and it's all the same as long as there's a cage with a door on it. You can put the thing in the Walmart parking lot.
So you said that you can talk trash with the best of them. Give us a little something about this fight to help sell the fight.
I think my fighting sells the fight itself. Everybody knows what you get from me. I'm exciting. I come to fight. I don't need to talk shit. I don't have any problems with anybody personally in the fight game. So I really don't feel the need to talk shit. If other people want to do it to pump themselves up or try and make a name for themselves off me, that's more power to them. The way I look at it, if he's talking and doesn't say my name, no one's probably going to pay attention. Along with most people that just reach for stuff.
8-2. We know you're looking for the UFC. Do you think that this is the kind of fight and you can get the kind of win that will grab the attention?
Yeah, for sure. I think I already got the attention. I just need to get them. I haven't been too active, but yeah, all it takes is one win, especially in this division. And Jordan's a good name opponent. I'm looking to be in the UFC.
We know
And
you come
I
out
think
with-
everybody else is looking to be in the UFC. So.
right there knocking on that door. We know you come out with a striking style. Where do you think your biggest advantage in this fight is?
I think my striking is always the advantage, but from what I hear through the woodwork and the grapevine and little tidbits here and there, he don't like being on his back, and I could take anybody down. So maybe he'll be uncomfortable there, squirming around a little bit. Who knows though? I think I got the advantage everywhere. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good fight. Just come out and take some pictures for me, write a little report, chat with me afterwards. Hopefully I don't got to ice my ankle like last time. Fuck, I'm on play. Check the shit out of my leg kick.
We keep talking about the goals of the UFC, and I just had one other thought. Is it UFC or would it be Bellator? Because people have been talking about the sponsorship money and the differences. So are you looking for one rather than the other, or is it just about getting to a big show?
Yeah, it's just opportunities. When opportunities present themselves, you got to take them, and that's what I do. If an opportunity presents itself, I take it, and I'll continue to do that.
Nick, thank you for the time. Great catching up with you.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
Jackson's MMA series, you're in the main event. It's right around the corner. Who do you need to thank? Who do you need to shout out to?
Just to thank people as always. I want to thank all my training partners, my family, friends, Tiger 2. I got so many sponsors. It's impossible to remember them. Tiger 2, EJ at Great Range, Bison. Those are two of my go-to guys. There's so many people I want to thank, but definitely my family and my brother. You know, wouldn't be doing this without my family. Everybody else is a big help, but family's first. And Lil John, of course.
February
Yeah, I could sit here for an hour and name people, but they know who they are.
February 13th. We'll see you up at Buffalo Thunder. Best of luck.
I'm a good chance.
Thanks. The DC Life Uncensored. We'll be back right after these messages.
The Fight Shop New Mexico in the Montano Plaza Shopping Center, located off Coors and Montano.
All right, we're back to DC Life Uncensored. What great interviews we had. We started off with Wesley Cabbage Correira. We went to Jordan Espinosa, and then we had Nick Urso. We broke down the national news in the first segment. This is our final segment of the show. It's thecageminds.com local scene. Micah, take it away.
Well, I got to start off with, after those interviews, I don't know why, but forget the fight. I'm kind of interested for the weigh-ins, for the stare down. Jordan, Nick, face-to-face, the tension. Oh, this fight could be fight of the year. It sounds exciting.
It would have been fun to have them both on at the same time. Because,
Too bad we couldn't get
because
that.
they were talking shit, but due to training and issues and whatnot, it didn't happen. But maybe we could one of these other times, because let me tell you, it would have been an interesting conversation to have them both on Uncensored, the DC
Fireworks.
Live. Yeah, it would have been awesome. Micah, touch on what's going on locally here in New Mexico.
Well, this Saturday, can't wait. We'll all be up there. Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino. They're the place to be for action, obviously. It's Cold War II. Fidel Maldonado versus Michael Clark. Clark has about nearly 60 fights under his belt. Maldonado, 17 of 20 wins via the knockout. Coming to make an impression. He wants to get back to one of those Fox Sports 1 cards. Get back in the good graces of Golden Boy, who he's signed with. You got the Holmes brothers taking on opponents up there. Antonio Toe Martinez is supposed to be on the card. The fight of the night, my pick for fight of the night, you're going to have Gene Perez, Alex Holguin, CageMinds.com. We got interviews with both of them up there. That's an underselling fight. And I just actually remembered Brandon Holmes is in a rematch against Eric Gonzalez. It was a decision from a year ago. Gonzalez is highly motivated to show why he felt he won that fight. So it's action-packed. You got to be up there next weekend.
This weekend.
I'm right. Yeah, this weekend. You're right, Sal, as I'm tripping up here. Because next weekend, we forgot to touch on. We have the disappointment. No Cain Velasquez. Stipe Miocic getting a world title shot against Fabricio Werdum at UFC 196. Then the following weekend, the fight we keep talking about, Jackson's MMA Series 17, again at the Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino. Then the following week, Rumble at the Rock 2, Tony Valdez, Raymond Chacon. You got Xavier Pacheco, David Proa, Walter Sabis versus Joshua Greer Jr., an undefeated prospect from Chicago. Ernest Muhammad is going to be out here waiting on his opponent. Jason Sanchez meeting the always tough John Smiley Herrera. Brandon Salazar returning to the ring after a year away, taking on Alex Hippolito. Jose Luis Sanchez, hopefully healthy, finally fighting, taking on undefeated Ambricio Batista. And the women, first-time Legacy Boxing is having the women in there. Amber Lee Trujillo, Kristen Montano. They both go out there to fight hard. You check out CageMinds.com. We got a poster there. You click on that. You can get your tickets from HoldMyTicket.com. That is on the 20th. If you're in southern New Mexico, also on the 20th, Steel Dragon is having a smoker in Alamogordo at their event center. Get out there and support the amateurs. In some bigger news also in March 4th, Lana Venata goes for gold, RFA 36, challenging Ronnie Barcelos, who's 9-1, for the RFA featherweight title. Landon won his last fight with RFA, crushing knockout of Chad Curry. That was up at lightweight, now dropping down to featherweight. Win this 8-0, he could be getting a hot ticket to the UFC. That's a huge fight, March 4th. Also, don't forget to check out CageMinds.com because Legacy 51 is February 6th. Cody East is on the card, and we have a conversation with him. Also find out why he's the Legacy Heavyweight Champion, not defending his title on that card.
Any last thoughts for this week's show?
Kind of out of breath and really excited to see Bader and Johnson. I got a lot of questions that could be answered, and you guys got me really picturing a Rumble head kick knockout right now.
No.
I can't go back on it, but I'm scared of it. I'm scared.
I picked Johnson. We'll find out who was right. I'm going to be correct. But that's it for this week's edition of the DC Life Uncensored. We air on CageMinds.com. We record inside the Fight Shop, New Mexico. We'll see you next week.